August of 2013, Chris Brown was in Hawaii and decided to spray some graffiti. He spray painted the phrase "Fruits Piru," which is in reference to the Fruittown Piru gang, a gang affiliated or part of the Bloods. In the following year at the BET Awards, he once again seemed to demonstrate support for the Bloods. At an after party, he could be seen using hand signs used for the gang. Chris Brown was heavily criticized for doing this, and as I mentioned at the start, his decision to embrace gangs came at a peculiar time in his life. Typically, rappers make gang signs because these gangs represent the neighborhood they came out of and were part of their struggle to get to where they are today. In Chris Brown's case, he grew up in Virginia and decided...
And I hear a lot of people saying that that's the same shit Vlad said to W.I.G, right? Him and W.I.G are having an interview, and W.I.G is explaining how he acknowledges Chris Brown as a piru now, right? And Vlad is acting like he upset about it and gonna tell W.I.G that Chris Brown ain't a piru and whatever have you. It's like, the you talk? Do you know? You know, I can understand why a lot of people probably say certain shit, right? But what blows my mind is like, why is that your concern? You get me?
To embrace these gangs in his mid-20s when he was already successful and had just got done cleaning up his image after the Rihanna incident. In an interview with Vladtv, the rapper and member of the Crips, Trey D, was baffled by Chris Brown and others joining gangs after their success. He said, "It has to either be psychological defect to where you don't want to enjoy your life and enjoy your wealth and, you know, ride around on boats." He also said, "I see it as like the peer pressure aspect is that, you know, is this what you really want for yourself, or do you feel that this is the only way you'll be secure in certain areas? So are you buying into it for protection, or that's the only logical conclusion that I can come to?" The gang signs led people to the conclusion that Chris Brown must have joined the Bloods. You can't just use those signs in public. At the very least, it would be unwise to do so, and there would be some pushback on it. A member of the Bloods responded that Chris Brown is not a member, but they do not have a problem with him letting these signs rock.
Now, who is this member, right? Because another thing Wack was saying in the interview with Vlad, right? He was saying that nigga Big Wacko from over there and you know, other real reputables, nigga, Big Ducky. You understand me? He say, what Rick Ross say? He say the same way Big Ducky do for me when I'm in California. Big Ducky is Wacko Pops, right? That's what Wack was explaining in the interview. And he say, nigga, Briss was really, nigga, quartered on, nigga. You understand me? And that's the thing. I think, you know, it be discrepancies about a nigga age or his timing on when he, you know what I'm saying? But it's crazy because if you been in tune with Chris Brown, you could tell he been has some in him. Like some boy in him, and we don't know his. We're gonna get into that in a little bit.
This gang member had clearly thought this through and gave 4 specific points as to why Chris Brown was allowed to make these gang signs. He said, he's hired several of them to work for him, giving their Compton community an economic boost. Chris came to the hood and hangs out with them. He shot a music video in the neighborhood and even included some of them in the video, and he donated 1,000 pairs and used shoes to Compton kids. Although it's easy to hate on Chris Brown, he seems to at least care about these people living in poorer neighborhoods in LA, which can't be said for a lot of other celebrities that live there. But does that mean you need to rep the gang as well?
So this the thing, right? Like I say, niggas don't know his reason for clicking up or doing whatever he doing, right? And you know the industry gets diabolical, right? When you got niggas on you don't know what his family situation is like. You don't know what nigga, if he just wanted some camaraderie or whatever. We don't know what his reasoning is for what he doing, right? And then motherfuckers will point out like, oh, he did this, he paid this, he paid. It's basically trying to allude to the fact that a nigga paid their way in, right? But if it was a nigga that was front and set and made it and was doing these same things, he would just be looked at as a real ass nigga. Like, bro, he giving back to the community, he providing opportunities to the homies, nigga making sure the homies got jobs, this, that, and the third. But niggas want to scrutinize Chris, but nigga won't take that fade. You know what I'm saying? Nigga who crying and acting like nigga he ain't this or he ain't that. And it's like I said, bro, we don't know what his reasoning is behind why he moving the way he moving. You feel me? It ain't the gangs that's really the problem. It's just certain out of pocket shit that goes on within. You feel me? Community revolution and progress is what Crips used to stand for. Yeah, I think it's still, you know, I think that's what it initially started off. But you get what I'm saying? And when the shit got too out of hand, guess what? now we gotta have an opposing force to try to kind of like mitigate some of this shit. Cause total power. You feel me? Some niggas don't know how to handle that shit, man. And a motherfucker will go above and beyond. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it lit.
Chris Brown using the Bloods as protection is an interesting theory. While at first this makes some sense, Charlemagne has said that artists who do this are being extorted. In an interview with Vladtv, he said, "You're really paying for protection when you can just pay for protection the legal way. Why put yourself in the mix of that?" In this interview, we sort of get down into the root of why Chris Brown is so obsessed with gangs. Interestingly, Chris Brown is not the only person who's seemingly done this, and the same criticism has been levied at rapper Bow Wow. Chris Brown was born in 1989, and Bow Wow was born in 1987. So their earliest memories of hip-hop would have been during the golden age of hip-hop and the height of...
Hey, man, so, the thing is about Bow Wow, I ain't never heard about no Bow Wow being in no gang. I have heard about Soulja Boy, right? And if you look at Soulja Boy and Chris Brown and how they operating, it's like two different. You know what I mean? It's like Chris, he don't come across as no buster, no square, and you can look in a nigga eyes, he got that in his eyes, like so. It's just, it's just kind of like different strokes for different folks in two different type of roads. You get what I'm saying? We're going to keep it lit for a little bit more, and then we're going to really get on Vlad ass.
The gangsta rap. According to Vlad, they grew up on Death Row and Snoop and the Dog Pound, and has sort of been enamored with that gang culture because of the music. Charlemagne says that if this is the case, then it's an incredibly naive viewpoint. He said, "Salute to all the real Bloods and all the real Crips out there who probably had no other choice."
So that's perfect. That's a perfect spot to end it, right? To y'all go shout out. Let me see who this is. Shout out, Hello Yasin. But the thing is, right? So Vlad, this what I'm watching Vlad and W.I.G had a discussion about Chris and his affiliations, and Vlad kind of like trying to downplay Chris affiliations, or like he got the ability to do that. You talking? If W.I.G is sitting here telling, so W.I.G, I seen W.I.G discussing this shit about Chris Brown, and he, how he was speaking on it. He like, I acknowledge Chris as a piru. At this day and time, he acknowledged him as a piru. He f with him. He this, that, and the third, right? And he like, I don't even know if Chris cared that I acknowledge him, but I'm just letting it be known that I. So what make you think if Chris don't care about W.I.G, who is a piru, really from that, for you to think, somebody coming from way, way, way outside the culture, thinking you got some say-so with what it's doing and how he running his program and this, that, and See, Vlad is a representation of the industry and how they be on some diabolical shit, right? And I feel like certain they click up to combat that. It's not like they on some sucker shit by themselves, but it's strength in numbers. You get what I'm saying? On top of the camaraderie, on top of this, on top of that, feel me? You don't know, man. We don't be knowing what how thinking and what a thinking. Getting courted on. Well, kind of like only people who got the right to speak on it getting courted on so late in the game is niggas who been born in it, sworn in it. You get what I'm saying? And even then, it was like. Ain't gonna have much to say if the shit is set up right. But yeah, man, I seen that shit and I'm like, Vlad, who the fuck, bro? You constantly be popping it, and then if you go down the list of his shit, you type in Vladtv Chris Brown, a lot of he asking everybody else about what do you think about Chris Brown being a Blood, and what do you think about this, and they giving they fake ass opinion with this weird ass nigga. Like, bro, shut the fuck. We don't want to hear none of that shit. And I ain't gonna lie to you, let a nigga do what they gonna do, and you watch the show like you been watching, Are you entertained, Fuck you think you is. That's what I'm saying. You and Adam then stood next to motherfuckers in the culture. Now y'all think that y'all got the same like y'all bro, this shit is crazy. I'm gonna finish my thought though. Him and Adam, they done stood next to people who are perceived to be cool, perceived to be famous, right? So now they think they perceived to be famous or perceived to be cool. No, you're still a lame ass motherfucker, just with a lot of followers and a lot. You can give niggas opportunities. So niggas like, all right, I'm gonna tread lightly with this bitch nigga till it's time for me to get on his head. But y'all niggas let me know what y'all think, man.